on the border of Hunan and Guangxi provinces of China. The southeast end of Yingui Plateau joins Yechengling mountain range. The county of Longshan is situated in northwest of Guilin city. In the vast expanse of misty mountains to where the Xiongjiang River meanders in its significance, ethnic groups of Miao, Yao, Dong, Zhuang, and many others live in harmony, co-producing a truly fantastic culinary culture. The subtropical monsoon, with warm and humid air, brought ample precipitation. The rain lasting for 3 whole days had made Huronglin a bit uneasy. In the barn, the seeds of aromatic sticky rice were sprouting. If they were not sowed as soon as possible, the harvest of the year could have been inflicted. The village where Ronglin lives is called Guzhuang, a place with beautiful view of mountains and streams. The Zhuang people here give a full display to their fondness for rice. In the village, terraces were built on all the sole surface slopes, looking like layers of mirrors placed facing the sky. Before the day of grain in ear, a solar term of Chinese lunar calendar, people begin to plant the well-prepared rice seedlings and kickstart the farm work of the year. The terraces seem to reach as far as the mountaintops. The water had been stored in the patch for 3 days, and the soil should have been soft enough. However, there could be the most leeches and mosquitoes inside. This was already ignored by Ronglin because the bare feet would work the best when harrowing in the mud. A few hours later, Ronglin started to prepare his lunch. Bamboo tube rice was the usual food for the farmers during busy seasons. The bamboo that grew all over the mountain provided natural cookware. Before he left home, he had put in the bamboo tube some processed sticky rice, taros, pumpkins, and bacon, and then sealed the tube with a corn cob. In intervals of his farming, he would light a fire to cook. The moisture contained in the bamboo itself was enough to soften the rice, and the aroma of bamboo could penetrate into the food. In a while, the green skin of the tube was burned black. But the fragrance exuded from within indicated a marvelous something inside. The tube was cut open by half. A thin coating from the bamboo wrapped the glossy rice, apparently adding to the attractiveness of the food and keeping it fresh and warm. A bite on it would be accompanied by the mixed aroma of the bamboo and rice, extremely satisfying both the tongue and the stomach. The aromatic sticky rice of Longji is the major food for local people. It can be either squeezed to a rice dough or loosened to fluffy rice. As an acclaim to the aroma of the rice, a local saying goes, "All know with knows when one steams the rice." With the surplus rice, the Zhuang people made wine. Water is the eternal theme of Longshan County. Streams run across the village of Guzhuang tirelessly, as if the change of seasons had not bothered. The aromatic sticky rice of Longji, working with the limpid spring water of the area, will make the best rice wine.
以前我们搁外地打工，你看你们这个水质好的，在这个酒店，可那个酒店又不像我们这个在家里面，我们这个水好是能做。
Just about June, visitors poured to the terraces, bringing about the most consumption of the rice wine. Chui Mei had to work even harder to meet the demand. Though experienced in the wine producing, she still considered the whole process a big challenge. A few steps done, such as soaking the rice in the spring water and steaming the rice on firewood, the brewing of the wine was nonetheless far from the end. Temperature is what decisive in the process. She now poured again some icy spring water onto the rice. Spreading the rice on a bamboo tray to cool it down was technically demanding. The adjustment of temperature was all a matter of experience. If it was too high, the yeast could be killed, and too low, the fermentation would not happen. Any tiny distraction could lead to a total failure. To check the temperature, Chui Mei used her hands. Now it was the best time, as assured by her experience, to introduce the yeast. The next step was to seal the jar until the rice got fermented. The sticky rice contained a large quantity of starch, and the maltose generated from which would react with the yeast enzymes. 7 days later, strong aroma was released from within the jar, calling for some boiled water to be added in. Then the jar was resealed for another round of fermentation. When the spring water and the vinasse fully mixed, the sweet and mellow Longji rice wine was done. All the hard work was paid by perfect sweetness. The wine tastes more like beverage than liquor. Today, only Chui Mei and the people of her age are still capable of making such silky and syrupy liquor, or the so-called Oriental magic liquid. Compared with taking adventures, the younger generations are less interested in carrying on the traditional craftsmanship. Regardless of this, Chui Mei remains confident.
It's really delicious.
Excellent.
She believes that the good wine will find a way to get itself passed down. With generous hospitality, the people of Longsheng County usually serve their guests with a bowl of soup at the end of the meal. This vegetable soup, beige in color and with no meat or condiment, delivers a truly impressive flavor. It is made with preserved vegetable, taken by the Dong ethnic people as the taste of home, which is cherished for lifetime. The preserved vegetable looks like dried mustard greens. But in Wu Kekwan's mind, they are totally different materials. In the Dong villages, every household is skillful in making the preserved vegetables. For the product, people here pick only the leaf mustard that ripened in February, which tastes the sweetest. No extra condiment is needed during the process. In a sealed and dark environment, the salt can continuously activate the lactobacillus contained in the vegetable and produces the sour smell. In a half month, when fully fermented, the vegetable is taken out, minced and cool-dried on the bamboo trays. The ultraviolet rays can stop the fermentation and impart a unique scent to the vegetable. To preserve and enhance the natural flavor of the vegetable, another ingredient has to be introduced: the tea oil. With some tea oil and some steaming, the preserved vegetable will taste even better and can be kept for longer. After being thoroughly steamed, the vegetable then needs to be dried again until the moisture contained is completely removed. Is the delicacy really ready? Compared to the complicated preservation process, cooking is much easier. When the water is boiled, the preserved vegetables should be put in, together with some ginger, garlic and pepper. Before the soup is served, some chopped green onion is strewed on it. The soup supposedly can warm the body in winter and relieve the heat inside the body in summer. Salty and a bit spicy, it offers a special flavor that no other food will provide. The preserved vegetable plays its important role not only in a soup, but beyond. Though it looks ordinary, it has become an essential ingredient of the meals of the locals. Being either fried or stewed, it never disappoints people's taste buds. When braised with pork, the preserved vegetable is believed to be able to reduce the greasiness of the pork and stimulate appetite. The coldness of winter yielded the best material for Wu Ke Kwan's specialty, the preserved vegetable, but reversely, it almost knocked Li Fu Gui down. In a winter a few years ago, a snowfall killed more than 1,000 ducks, which had been raised for 3 months and were about to sell, causing Li Fu Gui a loss of 40,000 yuan. This accident triggered much complaint from his wife, Yang Liu Ying, who originally objected to raise the ducks. The duck they refer to is chueya, all in blackish green and typically found in Longsheng. They are smaller in size than the ordinary ducks, weighing around 1.5 to 2 kilograms. The nickname Yang Dong Ya literally indicates that they are a type of duck raised by Miao people. They wear dark green all over from head to foot, being one of the 3 famous black ducks in China. Their color is prominent and brilliant in the sunshine. Light and dark green colors appear on their neck alternately, and the feather covering the body looks more like teal, just as that of the peacock. Ducks are waterfowls, therefore water is where they are born and live in. The luster of their feathers has a lot to do with the water environment. When temperature drops, the water turns cold. In the case, keeping chueya, especially those ducklings, warm become extremely important. The ducklings in their first 24 hours should be treated with great care. Li Fu Gui applied the heat lamp. The cozy and warm light kept the little somethings from the coldness. The tender care upon their arrival in the world could build on their strength to go through harsh environment. After checking, Lee felt a wave of relief. The rains did not cause any problem for him and the flock. The husbands insist, and success in duck raising changed the wife's mind, who even started to cooperate in the business. Small figure, Chui Ya wins fame nevertheless with its eggs, large in size and pretty in appearance, the bluish shell translucent with a glimmer of red. Whatever deep fried or boiled, the egg make delicious cuisine anyway. The meat of Chui Ya smells less aggressive and is less fatty. Every part of the duck, from blood to meat, is good enough for any recipe. The sticky rice mixed with duck blood can be made to rice cubes of black and white colors and then joined with the duck meat for stir fry. The combination of sticky rice, duck blood, and duck meat offers an intriguing and substantial feeling for tongue. Another cuisine has to be mentioned as it gives a highlight to the quality of the duck meat. No ingredient needed, not even ginger, the duck soup can be delicious as well. There is little fat under the skin of the ducks. That explains why the soup looks clear, smells pleasant, and tastes mild. The soup can also make nice tea, a drink that is smooth and light but rich with fragrance. The people of Longsheng has never stopped enriching their recipes about meat. A local beef is renowned for its incredible texture. The beef, firstly, is sliced, maintained in its soft but flexible status. Ginger, dry peppers, and jiao lo leaves are then put in and mixed with the beef. Later, they will be soaked in a kind of sour soup containing acid garlic and red peppers. In the soup, the beef dehydrates and sinks quickly, turning from red to a lot paler. Until now, it is ready to serve. Tender and fresh, it makes no difference with the fried beef and delivers no unpleasant smell or taste that the raw material ever has. The bold recipe for raw beef is prevailing in the Nanshan pasture, which is 100 kilometers away from Longsheng, and dominating the highest land of the county with an average elevation of 1,800 meters. Nanshan pasture is the merry land of these local yellow cattle, providing mountains for playground, spring water for drinks, and native grasses for food. The cattle is kept by Huang Bao Wang, a Yao ethnic who believes that the best way to keep the cattle is to let them freely grow. The cold air from the north will firstly meet the block of Nanshan pasture before it can take Guangxi. The chilly north wind usually brings along the clouds and rains on the way, shrouding the mountains with heavy fog and reducing the visibility to less than 10 meters. Huang let out the cattle, as always. Wouldn't he worry about the threats of the weather condition? Not at all. This is the common weather in Nanshan pasture. Instead of weakening the cattle, it brings them up even stronger. Actually, the local cattle are used to such environment. They normally sustain difficult conditions as long as there is no serious natural disaster. This day, Li Hongjian, the nephew of Huang Bao Wang, came over. His restaurant got a reservation from some visitors who wanted to have some beef bacon. It is fairly damp and chilly in the pasture. Baking becomes the most preferred means for the locals to preserve the meat. Yao people are well versed in the job. This may have originated from their tradition in hunting and the subsequent preservation of the meat. Beef is firstly marinated with ginger slices and soy sauce, and afterwards, baking is the key step. Other than smoking on direct fire, there's a device for baking, which is installed with a tube, channeling the smoke and heat more intensively to the roof and accelerating the drying of the beef. In a month's time, the beef will be totally baked dry, but not yet ready to serve. Sliced to smaller pieces, the beef bacon is again deep fried with pepper and ginger. Before being served, the attractive scent is already in the air. Dry but tender, the beef bacon is the best match for a shot of liquor. This is the mountain flavor that will definitely meet the desire of the visitors. No matter what is taken for the food and how the food is prepared, hot pepper has never been absent from the local recipes. This piquancy belongs to Longxi terraces, more than 800 meters above sea. This day, Meng Huanchun was much earlier than ever. He was to hand over a woodcut, his month-long work, and had it placed in a shrine for ancestor worship. Meng is one of the few woodcut craftsmen in the village. He enjoys the feeling of letting his passion about Longxi landscape run on the board. Likely, he's contented with the planting of red pepper. The village of Mahai produces abundant red peppers, and a pepper festival is celebrated here annually. The superior pepper planted by Meng Huanchun has ever won him the title of Pepper King. Meng was completely in his world of woodcutting, ignoring the rain getting heavier outside. June is the flowering season of the peppers and the rainy season as well. The rain can foster the growth of the pepper. However, too much of it can also knock the flowers down. Leaving alone his artwork, Meng and his wife, Liao Liang Feng, hurried out in their Kwa rain capes. The rain had wetted the world and wilted the white flowers, many of which were not yet in their full bloom. The couple came to check the damage of the plants as if they were tenderly carrying their babies. footsteps, they noted down all the stories of hard working in the misty terraces. Mahai village is surrounded by a dense forest of bamboo. It is said that in places with bamboos, the water is sweet. The sweet spring water nurtures even better peppers. August is the pepper season, when the village is richly decorated by the color of pepper red. Hard works of the year see a return at this most blissful moment of the farmers. The Longji red pepper, in the shape of ox horn and bright in color, is characterized by thick flesh, fewer seeds, mild piquancy, and delicate flavor. The newly picked peppers, with the bases removed, can be chopped to small pieces and pickled with some garlic, wine, and salt. A week later, a superb relish will be done. But more peppers are to be sun-dried. On the roofs of every house, a spread of red shines brilliantly in the sunlight, and even the air smells a strong fragrance. The dried pepper, shriveled in the skins while remaining soft in the interior, is the best material for chili sauce, a favorite of the visitors. First of all, the dried peppers are pounded to almost powders, and then some minced garlic is introduced before the hot oil is poured in. The temperature of the oil is decisive. The proper degrees can exude the natural fragrance of the pepper, but not to burn it. Liao's experience enables her to judge on the temperature by eye observation. Likewise, timing is essential too. As soon as the boiled oil is put in, all ingredients should be stirred to mix thoroughly. Therefore, the portion of each production shall be just appropriate, so as to allow the timely processing. Otherwise, the product could be ruined. Meng Cheng Wei, the son, develops a fancier way to enjoy the spice: barbecue dried pepper. The peppers are roasted on the fire until they emanate a stronger fragrance. Then they are cut by segments. Together with some minced garlic and soy sauce, they make a seasoning which will greet people's tongues with a spicy pleasure. Pepper has never been dispensable on any ordinary family meal. Year after year, this local flavor has been produced by Meng Huanchun and carried from home to far and beyond. The pepper seems to unfold a future as brightly shine as the color of pepper red. In the afternoon, Ho Chui Mei had just some break. She came onto the terraces to help with the husband. They wanted to finish the sewing before it got dark. Li Fugui and Yang Luying just shifted from the duck ranch to the kitchen. With the kids, they were going to have a warm family gathering. After sending the guests off, Wang Bao Wang and Li Hongjian had an appointment of fishing. What they harvested from the adjacent streams would supplement their recipes. More visitors will be attracted to Longsheng. It is the people of this land who, with various ethnic backgrounds, showing utmost respect to the nature and its rule, and using their wisdom, create this colorful life. The births of spring, the growths of summer, the harvests of autumn, and the provisions of winter make up a palette of life, and will eventually paint out the taste of happiness.